Welcome back to Fast. Talk about CEO OMG. Amazon's Jeff Bezos shocking all of Wall Street, accusing National Enquirer of blackmail and extortion over pictures of his recent affair. Let's get to Deirdre Bosin in San Francisco for all the details. Hi, Dee.
Melissa, in that bombshell blog post, Bezos says that parent company American Media threatened to publish revealing photos unless he agreed to stop his investigation into their coverage and state that there was no basis it was politically motivated. AMI recently did a deal with the Justice Department over its involvement in hush payments aimed at helping then-candidate Donald Trump. So now new reports say that federal prosecutors are looking into whether the Enquirer violated the agreement in its dealings with Bezos. Now, the latest could increase tensions between the president and Bezos. President Trump, of course, has publicly antagonized him, but there's been minimal impact, at least so far. Bezos' net worth has actually jumped by some $60 billion since Trump's election. And Leon Cooperman, an AMI investor that also has the ear of the president, today said that he stands by Amazon and Bezos, who he calls a fabulous CEO and person. Now, another Amazon story that we are watching today, the company's plans for its New York City headquarters. The Washington Post had first reported this morning that Amazon was reconsidering that plan amid local opposition. High-profile critics like U.S. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have questioned why Amazon needs billions in incentives, while Governor Andrew Cuomo, who fought hard for the project, and others argue that the economic impact would justify things like tax breaks. A few hours later, though, want to note a New York Times piece citing sources says that Amazon has no plans to back out. We did reach out to Amazon, and a spokesperson didn't confirm nor deny reports, simply said they're focused on engaging with their new neighbors. Melissa, lots going on with this company.
Certainly is. Deirdre, thanks for keeping on top of it. Deirdre Bosin in San Francisco. So is Jeff Bezos putting Amazon in the crosshairs over the fallout of his affair? Dan, is this a shareholders matter at this point?
Listen, it's a shareholder matter because for the last 10 years, we haven't heard a lot of Jeff Bezos. He's just kept their head down. They've been doing what they've doing. They don't really care what investors or Wall Street thinks about what they're doing. Now, all of a sudden, they're all over the place, and I think there's a lot of things that come out of it. There's nowhere it says that a CEO of a publicly traded company has to have a certain level of moral authority. So I actually think he gained a lot of stuff back by what he did last night. I had a lot of people hit me and say, Jeff Bezos is my hero, standing up in this way. So it's almost actually overshadowing the bad act of the cheating and all that other stuff to me in a lot of ways. I heard that a lot.
I know, I've heard it too, and it sort of amazes me. I mean, we had Jeff Sonnenfeld of Yale on this afternoon on Power Lunch, and he was calling Jeff Bezos a victim, which I understand because he was a victim of alleged extortion. But at the same time, he was the one who put himself in the position in the first place and did I don't know if you want to call it immoral or wrong or, terrible judgment acts.
Well, if you think about the dynamic with the Washington Post, which has been going on with Washington for how long? Really since the president was elected, and it hasn't really had an impact on Amazon. If anything, look, Amazon's biggest issue to me is the regulatory environment, where I know it's difficult to agree with that they're dominating any one sector, that there could be antitrust, but there is an argument that Amazon is overstepping and that they're actually not in business to make profit, but to put other people out of business while they essentially assert themselves. And I think that is at least the dynamic which is going on the regulatory front behind closed doors. That worries me much more than this.
I would just say Jeff Bezos can add one more thing to his resume. He's great at PR. Whether you like it or not, it was a great PR move.
This was a great PR move.
For him. Because we're not talking about
blog.
Yeah, we're not talking about his affair. We're talking about the fact that, look at what he did. He came and exposed the AMI for lack of a better word.
That's why we're talking about it, because there are pictures involved.
If you think about look, some of the things that have come out about the White House and some of this stuff and with other CEOs, I think the stock market doesn't care. The stock market doesn't care about this kind of information, and I think it's actually pretty healthy until it starts to mean that this guy would no longer be in charge.
And I'm asking this just, why did Amazon underperform the NASDAQ 100, underperform the NASDAQ, and underperform its FANG peers today?
I'm sure that had a lot to do with it, but I'll say this, and I'm not looking to dance around this. You have to wonder at what point. I think what Mr. Bezos is probably saying is he's been targeted by the administration. So at what point is there something that comes back at him? Does the Trump administration reignite the feud with Amazon, and is that potentially negative? I would submit there's potential for that to happen, yes.
Yeah, I'll just say real quickly, I think what investors are focused on right now is the fact that last year sales grew 30% year over year. This year they're expected to grow 19% year over year when operating expenses are going higher. That's why the stock sold after earnings. That's why I think it remains weak. The rest of the stuff is a sideshow. It could get nastier. Let's hope it doesn't for their shareholders' sake.